Well, welcome everybody. It's great to have you here today. Let me start by telling you what a pleasure it is to once again be online talking about the Rutgers program with my colleague, Carol Burns, who is a longtime expert in the CX industry. Those of you who've been around for a little while have run into her, have either read her book or have had one of her workshops or seen her at one of the big CXPA events or some of the other customer experience and customer service provider conferences. She's one of my favorite speakers and one of my favorite authors, and it's a pleasure to be with you today, Carol.
Oh, JC. So JC is a customer experience expert, and he's also quite an expert at customer relationship. And this is what's so wonderful about JC. He has a wealth of information how to really bring that into the company and understand what your relationship needs to be with a customer. And as you can see, he's the author of Speaking Frankly about Customer Relationship Management. He also is somebody who's been in the industry, even though he looks like he's 24. He's been in the industry for quite some time, is known globally as an excellent speaker, and he's actually worked for companies such as DHL, Sage, ADP, and Hewlett-Packard. So we're very happy to have him. He is a wonderful educator. Thank you, JC.
I thank you, Carol. Good to be here. For those of you who join us for the first time, we do this every time, and we try to outdo one another. So now she's set the bar so that the next time I'm going to have to actually go through either one of those DNA testing companies and actually go back and talk about how she maybe has ancestry back to the Queen of Denmark. I bet you that I find out. But this is great. Thank you for joining us. Let me tell you what we're going to be doing today. This is a fairly open webinar. We try to stay as relaxed and casual as possible to allow you to interact with us and to ask questions about the Rutgers program itself. We're going to take a little bit of time to talk about why it is that this program is different, the differences in the program itself, not only from why it is that we've even launched the program and what are the differences within the curriculum itself. And we'll talk about experience. It is a customer experience program. The experience at the Rutgers program is very different in itself. So we'll take a little bit of time to talk about that, and I'll let Carol actually get us started.
Okay, so one of the questions that has already come in is that is JC going to be a professor? Yes, he is. And I am too, and there's going to be several other people that join us. This is a look at who's on our leadership board. You may recognize some of these faces. We've got Donna Peoples, Kristen Guthrie, Jen Gloss. You may see Jeannie Bliss in there, another these are all experts in the field of customer experience. I don't know if you wanted to spotlight anyone.
Yeah, but, one of my favorite people, Don Fertman, is on as well. Don Fertman, you may recognize him from the Undercover Boss episode of Subway. He and I are part of a nonprofit together, and Subway is doing some amazing things with franchise and customer experience, and he was very gracious to join us as well. Curtis Burns, who you may recognize from the Chief Experience Officer or the Chief Customer Officer Council. He's also on the board and a very avid participant of the program.
You will have access to several people during your time, whether you choose the in-classroom or online. Of course, these are people that are wonderful experts from vision to strategy, a C-level type of group. And so it's just great to have access to these kinds of people while you're trying to, really bring in customer experience at your own company.
Yeah, what's impressive to me about these brands, Carol, is that, we don't have just one brand or just one industry. And we did that in purpose. I think the university was very conscious from the very beginning that in order for us to have a program that not only represented multiple industries, but also a program that represented the unique differences and needs of different brands. So just as we have a company like Subway, for example, that sends people to the program and their focus is on the experience at the restaurant level, we have consumer products like Samsung, that is focusing on a very completely different type of experience. So when we start conversations about things like your company, for example, ICW Group, and how insurance customers approach the experience and how you provide it for them versus somebody like Samsung or LPL Financial, um, or Airbnb, which everybody's hearing about Airbnb quite a bit frequently, which is a very, very unique experience. The program really represents that. It represents how different brands who are participating in the program from the faculty and also from the board members' perspective are doing things and are improving it. And I'll say this as well, also how they're not doing it well, right? Because that's how you really learn. You learn not only from who is doing really, really well in the industry, but who has had to kind of come through the ranks of doing things better over the years. And so that, again, it's great thing to have both the participants and also their brands represented.
And that's all good points. Yes, learning by others' mistakes is very,
That's
very
right.
valuable. So these were really the three approaches that we took to having the right skills to lead customer experience efforts today. There is a skill gap. I don't know how many of you have tried to find people in this arena of customer experience, but it's very, very small group. I think we all know each other. Customer experience isn't one of those initiatives that have, it's a project with a start and an end date. It requires a certain set of knowledge and expertise and insights in order to successfully execute them. And that's really what we concentrate during this training. One of the questions was, is the in-classroom going to be different? And we actually go through the same curriculum. We're going to be looking at this shortly. Just to let you know, it's the same curriculum, meets the high standards that Rutgers demands. And then also the talent shortage. I think I touched on that already. It's hard to fill those jobs. We actually hired someone recently to help us in the enterprise part of our company, and it took months, almost 9 months. And then if you have these skills, you are in high demand. So all great reasons why Rutgers is the choice. Let's go ahead and go to the next slide.
Yeah, let's talk about the experience itself, because I think the need in the market, I think it's a great reason to attend in itself. And Carol, you make a really good point that first, customer experience professionals don't get the type of recognition that they deserve because they sometimes end up in places within their company where they don't get the type of executive buy-in that they need. But then there's really so few of us that once you try to place people to run a program or to manage a program, it kind of becomes a little difficult. So the approach that we've taken with the program is to address that, address both. What happens if you're brand new? What happens if you've been around for a while? What happens if you had a customer service background, for example, and you've been moved into a role where you're managing now a customer experience program? The experience itself is very unique. It is very much an immersive environment that allows you to interact with other people and present your issues to subject matter experts who are both attending and who are presenting. We kind of break the program into multiple days, multiple weeks if you're in the online program. But regardless of the online program or the on-site delivery in New Jersey, you end up getting great value from the interaction with other people. We say that if we can't turn a lot of the ideas that you bring to the table and that you collaborate with other participants on into action, then you really have not accomplished what you needed to do in this program. So that is really, really the goal, to get buy-in into the tools, bring your experience into it, collaborate with participants, and then turn those ideas into action so that you can take them back to work and actually do something with them.
And I'm just going to add on to that just really quickly that this is not a conference. It's not a seminar. This is a hands-on experience. If you are in the classroom, we call it our 4-day immersive experience. you roll up your sleeves, you have your hands full. In fact, one of the questions that came in is, are we going to have live experience? Yes. We not only present you with tools, but we have you use the tools throughout the experience and training and education. You cannot sit on your laurels during this class. It is pretty active. In fact, I know during our last class, people came all dressed in suits the first day, and the second day they came in jeans, and they were
They learn
crawling
very
all over
quickly.
the
That's
place.
right.
Yes, they got into it right away. So it is a lot of fun, a lot of interaction. But we also are presenting that executive education. So it's not only how do you do it, but how do you lead it, which is really important to understand. And then this is a university certificate, and that's one thing that's so important about Rutgers is that Rutgers is one of the most significant and comprehensive research universities in the nation. It's actually one of the nation's oldest colleges of higher learning institution, and it's one of the colonial colleges, and it's a wonderful campus to visit. I hope you have the opportunity to do that if you come to our in-classroom session. Of course you will. And it's just amazing. The entire program is results-oriented, so we know as faculty, when we put together our classes, we know what those results need to be, and we build our entire program towards those results. So it's very, as I said, immersive and action-oriented.
So those of you who are asking immersive, you keep using that word. JC, you use that word. Carol, you use that word. Well, this picture is a great representation of this. And I love the fact that you brought that up because it's so true. People came in nicely dressed and they did their introductions on the first day, but then I think, if they had had a chance to go back to the hotel and change on the second half of the first day, I think they would have immediately done that. But you're right, they came back the next day. By immersive, we mean that we're using real-world challenges and we're diving right into them. As you look at the picture on the slide, you'll notice a couple of things. First is that on the left-hand side, you've got material that comes right out of the book. So the curriculum that you'll get will have quite a few pieces that detach right from the material. They're printed on extended sheets of paper so that you can work on them workshop style. But then on the right-hand side, you notice that the same worksheet is actually up on the board, and people have written on it, and there's materials all over the table. That is a true representation of this program. People are having discussions, they're collaborating, they're talking about similar challenges. They're using the tools that we give them to then address real-world challenges. We do things a little bit different depending on the audience, but most of the time we try to first work on common issues that happen across the companies that are represented, but then we encourage people to talk about issues that they want to solve by the time that they get back. So again, talk about immersive not only in the classroom, but then immersive in your ability to then go back and jump right into it and solve problems when you get back to work. And I emphasize real world challenges. Again, whether you're experiencing them now or not, these are real world challenges that are happening in real companies, and we jump into an immersive environment to resolve them together.
I think this is a couple great pictures here too, because it just shows you that we are getting messy. This is not a clean hand type of a class. You just are in it, and you're in it to win it, and we're in it to win it together. And so we work in small teams to solve those problems, and everybody gets a chance to participate. It's designed to engage you in these teams, because when you go back to your work, it is a team effort. It is an organizational effort. And it's just solving, as JC said, solving those real world problems and being able to talk amongst yourselves. This is the problem I have at work. This is a roadblock I have at work. And then we all work on it together to try to come to a resolution and have ideas to overcome those roadblocks.
One of the things that came up the last time was, I'm brand new to the program. We had a few people in there who hadn't even started in their role in customer experience. And so it was so nice to have that level of collaboration and participation, right? Where people who are starting and the people who have done it for a while but are coming back for guidance can work together. That turns us all into change agents, right? And I don't know if you worked the slide to where it would end up with me on the picture or not, but if you did that, Carol, that's pretty amazing. That's great proactivity right there, where it landed right on my slide. Um, so when we use the word actionable, we mean a couple of things. One of them is, of course, as we've been saying, that we take that immersive environment, we take real experiences, real challenges, and we put them into play so that we can resolve them together. But by actionable, we also mean practical, right? Actionable has to be practical. And so when you see the curriculum here in a minute, you'll see a mixture of different things. You'll see the customer experience program and charter and all the things that, if you remember the CXPA, for example, you'll see preach and evangelize all the time. But we go beyond that. We talk about what's really happening in the business world and even in the world of relationship building, in technology. I even talk a little bit about interpersonal relationships and neuroscience and how it is that people behave. So it really is a combination of many, many, many things to help you become a change agent that can effectively and in an actionable way address the challenges of your company in the real world. And I'll give you a couple of examples from one of the last classes, or from the last class. We had a group from a large company that starts with the letter O, as is in the technology business, and they had about 4 or 5 people there. They had different people from different departments represented, and it was so nice to kind of have the light bulb turn on about the level of silos that they have been working at this company, and the very, very small things that were keeping them from working together. And so now they're able to kind of go back to the office and take action on those very, very specific things. And this slide that you see here with me teaching on the right-hand side, we're talking about relationship building. We're talking about the definition. We're talking about what it takes to build a relationship, because many times what is actionable at a company may not even have to do specifically with CX, right? Carol, you may be thinking CX, and you may be in a CX problem, in a CX environment, and in a CX role, but the problems that you're trying to address are issues of business management, business modeling, change management, relationship building, and those are things that we, again, talk about in the program together, and we solve those problems together. So it's much, much beyond even CX itself.
Okay, so I've made a couple notes while you're talking, JC, and you really hit it, is that this is more than just customer experience management. This is a business strategy. This is organizational. So I had written down here, you'll learn the principal competencies and develop insights into what a customer-centric organization looks, feels, and acts like. And I think that's extremely important, that we're talking about customer focus and customer centricity throughout the organization. Okay, so I'm supposed to talk about this. These are our 8 principal modules. We started out talking about customer experience strategy. So you're going to talk about what is customer experience? What does that look like in a company? We're going to do an assessment to understand the current state of your own company. And then we move on. And we talk about success goals. There's a lot of discussion, a lot of work and exercises in that one. And then we move on to your customers and their journey, and we have a lot of fun creating personas and journey maps and empathy stories that move you right into customer-focused innovation, which is really that perfect blend of theory, practice, strategy, and invention. And how do you innovate? Focusing on your customers. And then the next module 4 is customer first culture, and that's what we were talking about, that organization that focuses on the customer and really becomes customer centric in everything that they do. How do you get there? And what does it mean? And what are the actions that make that happen? The next one is Principles of Customer Relationship Building. I should point out at this point that you see this is day 1, day 2, day 3, but you also see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and those are the online weeks. If you do take the online, it's 8 weeks, and then the modules are once a week. We walk through them. So the Principles of Customer Relationship Building is really great because we have the expert teaching these, and that's JC, getting to that strength of the trust and relationship and partnership with your customer and making that happen, defining the core elements and building those relationships. And then customer experience functional alignment is tying the benefits directly into business success and how to ensure success through profitability with customer experience. Hope I described those well, JC.
Yeah, that's perfect. I think if anything, you've kind of emphasized the fact that, again, like you said, it's a very, very broad program, is all inclusive, and it addresses everything from what is CX, even though we don't spend a lot of time just defining it, but we do talk about that. We talk about what are the differences. Why is it that a lot of times people don't even know what CX is? Is it specifically functionality, accessibility, and emotional connection and rating in that way? Is it the overall program? We get to talk about all that and all the stuff that's in it. So absolutely, I think it's true.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And
like
then
the last two, and then Module 7 is accelerating and improving decisions with data. So that's getting that data, formulating that data, looking at it, understanding what that data means, and making it actionable, and then taking that action. And then the last one is navigating politics of change. So we talk about how great it is, we immerse you in customer experience, but how do you take that back and handle the politics at your company and really navigate those waters that can be very rocky and stormy at times? And so that really brings the conclusion and the full wraparound for those 8 modules.
Well, Carol touched on this a little bit, but we've got a couple of programs. The in-classroom program is 4 days. Last time we started, I think, on a Tuesday through Thursday, but I think we're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday this time around, if I'm not mistaken. Although we invite you to come in early and be there, because especially when the weather's nice, you get to visit the campus. We happen to be at the Center for Innovation Education, which is a little bit further away from the main campus, so you actually get to experience both. But the 4-day event is very fast-paced, collaborative program, immersive. It is in classroom. Depending on the size, we either end up in one of the innovation classrooms or one of the larger theater rooms, and you get to interact. The first time that on-site event, we had tables set up all aligned with people sitting next to each other. And the second half, we ended up moving the tables and having big square circles. And we do that because we want the environment to meet the needs of the learning experience. So you'll get to see it change a lot. The goal ultimately is for people to interact with one another, to get to talk to peers, to get to understand what they're doing in their industry and specific function, and to collaborate on a project that we finish together. There is a capstone project that we do together. We give you an opportunity to see it before you even get to the classroom. You are really going to be working together. The analogy or the example that Carol used about people coming back in jeans is very true, and it's for that reason. People know that they're going to be working very, very hard at those projects together in the classroom.
The online program is a unique program that we offer. Rutgers has an online portal that helps us manage this program. It's 8 weeks. You get to go through it at your own pace. It is, self-paced. There's videos. All the materials that are in the classroom will be online. These modules are presented along with videos and references and assignments. There's chat. There's collaborative sessions. So it's very enriched. Both of those programs, when you're done, you'll receive the full Rutgers certificate, suitable for framing, I like to say, because they are. They're just beautiful. If you pass the optional exams, you're eligible to receive a waiver for 3 elective graduate credits towards your master's in business and science degree at Rutgers.
Excellent. I like the collaboration part. Since we like to make the courses the same or as closely as possible, it gets to be a little more difficult when you don't have that level of interaction with the online course. So the fact that the faculty will be available, the faculty member leading that specific session will be available to work with you and answer questions is really, really important, right? Because you don't want us to just throw you into the program and not have one of us be available to be able to walk you through and answer your questions and address your concerns. So very true. So we talked about the portfolio a little bit, about this capstone project. In case you're curious what that's about, because real world experience is important, it's important that we give you something to work on together and kind of address throughout the program. And you'll get to do this through both the online and the on-site program. The capstone program, I can't say that 3 times fast, is intended to develop vision. It's intended to help you think strategically. It allows you to take the idea of journey mapping and managing the customer journey together holistically, and it allows you to use the templates that we provide in order to connect the relationship with the journey, and at the very end, align it with your organization. It is a book, in case you're wondering, well, what is it? It's a book that has materials from the entire course that you put together into a project and are able to deliver it, again, as it aligns to your organization itself. If you're able to see the pictures, you get to see the book. That's, believe it or not because Carol put it together, and she's fantastic at that, but it's one of my my favorite things in the program, that you're really getting some fabulous material and templates that you can take back with you. I've already had a couple of people ask if they could just copy the stuff that they got from the book. And I think that we've provided it, actually we did provide it in electronic format. So I know a lot of the people from the class are printing those materials and are using them for relationship building, journey mapping, persona creation, program chartering, et cetera, and those came right out of the books and right out of the capstone project and out of the experience portfolio itself. So that's very exciting in and in itself.
It is, and not only that, I remember during this last class they had taught, several people asked questions about how to customize this for their own company. We did take some time just talking about the templates themselves and the tools and how they can change and work at your own company. I think we've been talking so much about customer experience, we forgot to mention the fact that this is a cross-departmental, cross-industry type of initiative or a way to change your business. It doesn't make a difference if you're in marketing or sales or in retail or B2B or B2C or P2P, as people like to say. You ultimately have customers. Customers drive your business. That is foundational to your success. And that's really what we concentrate on during this training and during this education, is how to make your business successful by focusing on customers.
You were talking about people to people, and I wanted to quote my favorite poet, Depeche Mode, who said, people are people, so how could it be you and I should get along so awfully? That's a song, by the way, if you guys didn't know that. But great way to wrap it up. Those of you who are wondering, well, how do I get started? Well, there's a few options. One is, of course, to go online and sign up for the program. But we can also use some of the available printed material and brochures to help you gain consensus from your company and get you to attend the program. So if you have any questions about what's the value, what should I tell my manager, what should I tell my executives about this program, and how will it benefit the company, please, by all means, call Carol, call me. We've got great materials that you can provide. But if you end up funding this yourself, or if there's a delay in payment or reimbursement, there's also options for financing. Now, I have someone on the line right now who's much better at explaining this than myself, so I'm going to let Kat talk a little bit about the financing and discount information from the continuing education loan.
Thanks, JC. Now, can you hear me? I just want to double check I've unmuted myself.
Yes, we can
can't
hear
see you, but we can hear you.
All right, fantastic. Well, I do have an Australian accent, so if anyone listening is struggling with the cultural difference, let me know, and I'm happy to repeat myself. So, just to elaborate a little bit on JC's point, Rutgers has very generously partnered with the Rutgers Federal Credit Union for this program and is offering some really fantastic loans. So if you are in that category of people who really want to complete this program, but unfortunately an employer isn't able to fund it for you and you don't have the funds up front to enroll, definitely check out this option. You'll see on the screen, if you're dialed into the website portion of this webinar, that there is a link to find out more information about the loans. That is, in case you're not, it is bit.ly/Rutgers loan request, and we'll also send out information about this, so don't worry if you weren't able to get that down. But basically, you can fill out a request form for some no obligation information, and RFCU offers these continuing education loans at really competitive rates. It's a relatively simple application process. You just have to kind of go through the usual process of just, supplying some information about yourself and your credit history, and then if you are eligible, you're actually able to borrow the full program cost, and the terms are up to 60 months in duration and really low rates of about 5.75%. So definitely encourage you to check out that option. If you'd like to learn more about the Rutgers Federal Credit Union, you can just Google that name or go to rutgersfcu.org, and they also have more information on that site. But again, we will send out information about this as well. But don't hesitate to let any of us know if you need assistance in kind of going through that financing process, and we'll be happy to assist. All right, back to you, JC and Carol.
Well, thank you, Kat. I like your accent, by the way. If they can deal with my accent, I think that they just love your accent. So, Carol, there's also another question about the cost of the course. And if you go over to cx.rutgers.edu, there is the fall 2016 certificate program cost for both the 4-day and the 8-week online program. And so to answer that question briefly, prices are clearly posted. The 4-day in-person program is $49.95 for the 5 days, again, starting November 7th. And then the 8-week online certificate program, which starts September 26th through November 21st, is $3,495. So that's the cost. And again, just go to cx@Rutgers, and you'll see the price clearly posted right on the very front page.
One other thing I'll add to that, JC, is if people who are considering bringing a group of individuals from their organization, we have some fantastic group discounts available. So, if you're definitely wanting to come in yourself and you think that there's an employee or another team member at your company who would also benefit, make sure you get in touch with us, and we're happy to put together a really special discount. Whether you have 2 people, 3 people, 4 people, we've even had people bring 5+ people from their company before. So just let us know via the website or via email, and we'll be happy to put that together for you.
I think that pretty well wraps it for us.
That's great. A lot less questions than usual. We usually have quite a few questions, one after the next. But hopefully we just did an even better job this time, and that's why there are no questions. Carol, you certainly did.
Oh, and so did you, JC. Okay, well, thank you very much. I guess we'll call this an end then.
Yeah, thank you for your time. Look forward to seeing you at the program either way. Look forward to seeing you all.
Thanks.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
Take care.